see you.
Avatar: Fire and Ash is now streaming on Disney+. It's the film critics are calling the best Avatar yet.
Yeah! Go, 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 go!
A true epic and completely jaw-dropping.
This is the only pure thing in this world.
Return to Pandora on Disney+.
It will be an adventure for the whole family.
And watch the Oscar-winning phenomenon at home.
This is sick!
Avatar: Fire and Ash, now streaming on Disney+. Rated PG-13.
Study and play come together on a Windows 11 PC. And for a limited time, college students get the best of both worlds. Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
This is Cop Talk, talking crime, cases, and backing the blue. Now, here are your hosts, Captain Ed Mehmet and Detective Kevin Schroeder.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cop Talk. I'm Kevin Schroeder, your host, and I'm here with my guest co-host today, Sergeant Rory Capra.
Hello, Kevin. Nice to be here.
And David Giordano.
Present for duty.
I love it. So today's guest, we're honored to have Lieutenant Tony Giorgio. Tony, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Tony Giorgio was the commanding officer of the Ceremonial Unit under the Police Commissioner's Office. And he's here today. We're very fortunate to have him. And Tony, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about your background?
Well, thank you so much. Born in Brooklyn and grew up on Long Island, including college, CW Post College. I'll make a plug out for my old school. Went into the NYPD in July of 1983. Had different commands. I worked NSU 18, which turned out of the 113th precinct. Assigned to the 69 precinct as my permanent command. Left there to be a law instructor. Promoted to sergeant. Went to the 20 precinct. Then across the park to the 19th precinct. Okay. And then to the ceremonial unit.
Nice. Ceremonial unit. So why don't you tell our audience a little bit about the ceremonial unit, because guys from NYPD, our listeners may not know about the ceremonial unit.
So the ceremonial unit is really the internal special events unit for the NYPD. It ran promotions. It ran medal days. It took care of family days. Unfortunately, we do have officers that pass, so they would also be the honor guard and the pallbearers for those officers that had passed while either active, line of duty, or those retirees that still living in the city or the 5 boroughs that you can reside in. And it morphed into a lot more as the department started leaning on it to handle the press conferences, the sound crew. We put together people that knew engineering and can figure out speakers and getting PA systems out there. And then eventually, through the request of the commissioner, it started a musical unit, which is the marching band, the drum line, the jazz ensemble, so that we can use music as a bridge between the police department and the communities that they serve. And we serve a lot of different communities. And we found music would be a good bridge sometimes between the law enforcement agency and the people that they serve.
Wow. Yeah, Tony, you did 36 years in the police department. An amazing career. I was looking over, some of the things and the people that were there at the time. You served under 9 police commissioners and like 5 mayors. And for the benefit, for the benefit of our audience, just because some of the younger ones won't even know some of these names, the older ones will. But you had police commissioners starting with, I guess, Ben Ward.
Right.
You had Ben Ward. You had, for a very brief moment, I think there was Richard Cullen. Yep. Lee Brown.
Yep.
Ray Kelly twice.
Right. That's true.
Ray Kelly twice. William Bratton.
Yep. Twice.
Twice.
Howard Safer.
Yes.
Bernie Kerrick. And I think your last was Jimmy O'Neill. Jimmy O'Neill. Yeah, that's amazing. And same with the mayors. The mayors he served under. The legendary Rudy Giuliani, right? You had Edward Koch, Bloomberg.
Yep. Dave Dinkins.
Dave's personal favorite, Dave Dinkins.
Right.
I
spent 7 years with him after when I retired. Yeah.
with Dave Dinkins?
Yeah. I was driving him.
Oh, you
I was
were?
one of 3 people that was driving him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you play tennis with him too?
When I got with Dinkins detail, I guess you can call it, he was not in any shape to play tennis, but he was. I took him to the U.S. Open every year. Yeah.
Yeah. I met his son years ago. He had a job, I think, with HBO.
Son
right?
Dave Jr. is a great guy.
I used to run into him at boxing matches down in Atlantic City.
He loves boxing,
years ago.
as do I. Yeah.
Late 80s, early 90s.
Dave's a good guy. I was still in touch with him up until just a couple of years ago. He's still on Fifth Avenue, has a great pad over there. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Cool.
So, Tony, with all that list of notables that you worked under, you were, for the most part, in a ceremonial unit.
Yes.
And I would say for most people within the job and outside the job, basically you, outside of maybe the police commissioner and the mayor, you were for many people the face and the voice of the police department. You really were.
Yeah.
That's very kind of you. Thank you. I never meant to be that, but it just worked its way out. So it truly was an honor, having that position and representing the department at so many different events.
Yeah, I was just going to say, how many, including myself, being promoted detective in second and first grade, and I'm sure you as well, being promoted sergeant, Rory. I mean, you were the MC.
He was it.
Basically,
Well, I had you at the hiring ceremony, usually at Queens College or Brooklyn Tech, one of those schools, or FIT. Then I had you at promotions. And then I did your retirement ceremony.
Yes.
And some people actually have in their basements photos of me of those 3 events in their life of being a law enforcement officer with having me behind the podium and said, hey, your hair didn't really change much in those years.
Yeah. I have you in 3 photos at home.
And I think over time, you really set the standard. You set the standard for the ceremonial unit. In many ways, you developed a lot of the practices and the protocols that are still used today. And in fact, kind of like the Roman Empire, when other emperors were then referred to as Caesar, I think kind of hittingly, we refer to every CO that comes into the unit as the new Tony Giorgio.
Well, thank you. No one does anything in a vacuum in the NYPD. I have probably 2 of the best detectives in the NYPD. Detective Amy Pape, who came out of the 106. Detective Billy McDonald we worked together. I never say they worked for me. Worked together for over 20 years. It's pretty amazing to have a cadre of officers that would stay with you for that long. But they were tremendous. We treated each other as equals, so when we would come up with a new protocol, they would be my sounding board. How does that sound? And, they would be honest. And I think this will work. This might not work. Let's try this.
Whatever you did, Tony, worked. Like I was telling you earlier, I must have seen you at 100 different events during my career, post-career. You've always showed the NYPD in the best light possible.
Very true.
You made everyone look good.
Yeah.
Face it.
Thank you.
Which in turn made the city look good. And we owe you a debt of gratitude for that, because you're the standard, right? The current CO, Captain
Jack Conway.
Oh, Jack Conway.
Yeah.
Yep. I think he worked under you.
He worked under me.
Oh, he did work under you. Okay, but
And he's even starting to look a little like you.
yeah, exactly.
He learned from the best.
There is a resemblance, but you guys, you knock it out of the park.
Yeah,
and,
you really do.
You do.
It's a tremendous
it's
job.
greatly appreciated by not just other members of the service, but their families, their spouses.
Right. And that's, you touched on something that was always said in the office. We do this for the families, for the cops, but we really do it for the families.
Right.
We do promotions for the families. The cops get the promotion, no matter what rank, and I use the word cops, meaning everyone, but it's for the families, to show the families that your loved one, your spouse, your husband, your wife, attain an achievement in the NYPD. We want to recognize it. We want to elevate this ceremony with music, with videos. When we used to play the videos and the PowerPoints beforehand, anything we can do to enhance the experience, that's what we always were after. And on the flip side, when we lost an officer, we wanted to make sure that we were doing everything we possibly could do within reason to highlight that officer's life and the life that they led, and that they sacrificed it in many times for the city of New York.
Sure.
Yeah, amazing. So, Tony, from the first day you got to the ceremonial unit bring us to that day, and then of course bring us to the day you left. I'm sure there's a big difference.
Big difference. 2 sergeants there, Sergeant Pete Abbott, Sergeant Bobby Avino. The PAA was Liz Moss. What do we do around here, guys? We got promotions on once a month, and when we get a funeral, we call in a cadre of gym instructors, and from there we started building. And let's get teams together. Let's train them to do a shoulder carry, which the shoulder carry itself it really comes from, I know you mentioned Caesar before, but it comes from the Romans, where they would, at the death of someone, they would say, this person is heads and shoulders above everyone else. So they would carry the casket on their shoulders, and that's what the shoulder carry is. And so it's first to elevate the casket, because this person was heads and shoulders above everyone else. And also, working with the NYPD, when we had 10,000 officers lined up on Flatbush Avenue, people can see the casket moving because it was above all the shoulders' heads. So it really served 2 purposes, and we're one of the only departments that still does the shoulder carry, but constant training on that, lifting up anywhere from 500 to 800 pound casket, depending on who's in it and the material that makes up the casket, wood or steel or copper or bronze. It does require a lot of training. We have to match everyone up. So it's labor intense and training intense to do those funerals.
Kind of along in line with that, with the caskets and doing funerals, I found it really very interesting in your background, because in addition to, you went to LIU, you have a master's degree, bachelor's degree, fine arts, but you also have a degree in mortuary sciences, which is kind of an unusual transition.
Yes, it's not your normal path.
Yeah, normal, no.
and really that developed after a conversation I had with Commissioner Ward. After a active police officer had died, the funeral home was very late getting to the church, and the commissioner was at the church. He had a meeting with Mayor Koch. He was trying to, be at 2 places at one time. And afterwards, he said, what was the delay? And I said, unfortunately, the funeral director had a delay moving the casket out of the funeral home. And he just looked at me. And a lot of people don't understand Commissioner Ward. He was always pushing the officers for education, whether they be a cadet or a chief, pushing the education. And I think if you take away anything from his administration, was he wanted the officers to be educated. An educated officer was a smart officer. And he said, why don't you go and get your funeral director's license? And he was the impetus of me then almost spending 10 years between studying and leaving the police department to go to the FBI Academy for 4 months, and then coming back. I missed classes. But he's the one who put that thought in my head.
Wow. Well, I guess following up on that education, you also went to the Culinary Institute.
Yeah, so cooking
were you
has always
thinking
been,
about being a chef too?
I was, and you know what you learn when you go to the culinary education and you go for a certificate there, a certification, you learn that there are no chairs in the kitchen. You're standing for 8 to 9 hours. And I said, this is a young man's job. This is not something I want to do full time. But I had passion for cooking. I still have passion for cooking. I do dinners at my house for 10, 12 people. And
good to know.
Maybe this weekend we'll be there.
Yeah. He does it in North Carolina, though. So
But
food will travel.
Yes, it was always a passion, and we mentioned this before. I grew up in an Italian household. Cooking was a labor of love. Cooking was on Sundays. My godmother, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins. We would sit on the kid table, of course, but it was a way that the family got together. And they spoke freely of what the issues were. We, being kids, didn't understand that, so we spoke as cousins on the table. We did have a little wine in our ginger ale, but made us feel part of the adults. But it was really coming together and breaking bread.
The kids' table was always talk of who on the Yankees did what the night before.
Right. Well, like in any Brooklyn Italian family, you had some Yankee fans, but mainly you had
a lot of disgruntled
Dodger fans.
Yeah.
And you know, my grandfather, who also worked in the Italian deli, Panzone's, that was on New York Avenue and Rutland Road, ran a trolley car and told me the reason why the Brooklyn Dodgers got the name Dodgers. They used to dodge the trolley cars on Empire Boulevard, where Ebbett Field was. And he would stop the trolley car, go into Ebbett's Field during game, and know to come out before the end of the game so people can go on the trolley. Then he moved the trolley either toward Flatbush or toward Empire Boulevard.
Cool. Great story.
Yeah. Well, you talk about sports. You see what our host is wearing today.
I do.
New York Knicks.
We did it.
Lifelong Knick fan.
And we're all lifelong Knick fans. We didn't just jump on a bandwagon.
Right.
We're lifelong Knick fans. And so congratulations to the New York Knicks. And tomorrow is their parade in New York City. And
Tony, are you heading that parade at all?
No. That was one of the best things we decided. We would do 62 parades a year between all the fraternal parades and the celebratory parades. And people say, hey, you're going to go to the Knicks? Nope, I'm going to enjoy it watching on TV.
Exactly.
But, we're probably much the same age in the room here. We remember the 1973 championship team, the Busher and Brady and
Bradley, who
became a senator in New Jersey. But we remember that team. And then, we came close. We came close in '99 when Pat Riley had it. Yeah. We lost Game 7 to the Houston Rockets.
That's right.
And that was Patrick Ewing and John Stark. Yep. So, if you're a Knick game, you do go through those pains. So half the pain in my body's gone. The other pain is I'm a New York Jet fan. Growing up and we listened to the Super Bowl III. It wasn't called Super Bowl III, by the way. It was called the NFL versus the AFL championship game. That was the official name. It wasn't a Super Bowl to Super Bowl IV. But we had Willie Namath, and he was on the back pages and he was on the front pages. He was running Bachelor 3, the bar back then, and he was threatening to leave. But we grew up with Knicks as champions and Jets, and then it didn't happen again for about 50 years.
Well, you're going to have a lot of pain for quite a while longer.
Being a New York Ranger fan, it's very painful.
Same thing. Same thing.
However, football, Dallas Cowboy guys.
Okay.
Roger Staubach, back in the day.
America's team.
Well, you were?
Yeah, Cowboy fan. Yeah.
Tony, you're no stranger to ticker tape parades either, because like you said, you did 62 parades.
Yeah,
and I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say you've done legendary with the Yankees.
Yankees were the greatest organization to work with. Randy Fine, all those working with the Giuliani administration. I did not work on the '86 Mets because I was out in the field as a patrol officer back then. But we realized floats weren't really a good way to go. Use the double-decker buses so people can see them.
Yeah.
So that, to raise it, again, it's that experience. You want the people that are attending these parades to have the best experience possible, then ending, going around Chambers Street, going through the Tweed building. So now refresh them. They're on a float. They're on a double-decker bus. Make sure that they need the facilities. They could use them, and then bringing them out one by one onto the stage of City Hall. They speak. They get the key from the mayor. All those ceremonies, we sort of memorialized them so that they had a boilerplate of how to do a ticker tape parade because we had so many consecutively during those Yankee years.
And I would have to say that you learned from experience, and you probably also then set the guidelines, so some of the protocols for those parades and what's still followed today.
We saw what worked, we saw what didn't work.
I was going to ask, you kind of answered pretty much what my next question was going to be, which would be what goes into preparation from the ceremonial unit standpoint for a parade tomorrow for the Knicks?
Well, we would immediately, as soon as they got to the finals, whether it be the World Series or here the finals of the NBA, we'd start meeting with the mayor's office and start to talk. Mayor Giuliani in particular is very superstitious, so you couldn't mention ticker tape parade around him. But we would meet and we would say, if hypothetically they win, and then we would go through what's the lineup. You really want to break it up. You don't want all the players to come out one time because then you lose the continuity of having a parade because people are there to see the players. All right, let's put a band, maybe a car with the mayor, then some players, another band, maybe a car with the commissioners, then another band. Try to do it that way so you could spread it out. And also it's easier to offload them that way because it takes a while to get them all off the double-decker bus or the years that we did use a float and get them in so it would be a continuous. And then the ticket tape itself, there is no more ticket tape. All that stuff is imported. And so we have to make sure that we have buildings along the route in the Canon of Heroes that have the ticket tape, drop it off at the building, make sure they go high enough so that it doesn't just come down in clumps.
Right.
So you try to go to the top floor, work with our own traffic division. Obviously, we're going to shut Broadway. We're going to freeze some of the blocks that parallel with Broadway. We're going to shut down Chambers. We have to reroute buses. We're going to have to shut down some of the subway stops because you don't want everyone using the same. You want them to filter in from basically from the north to the south. So you sit down with the MTA, you sit down with the transit division in the NYPD. There's all these meetings that you have to do before you announce what the parade is. Then put out the list. What's prohibited? Where are the entry points? Make sure everyone understands those. You know, the internet is very easy to do those things now. Back then, we had to get those and give them to our DCPI, get them to the mayor's office, director of communications. Don't bring a chair. Don't bring glass bottles. Don't bring knapsacks. All those things we had to make sure that we kept saying for the days leading up to the parade.
Wow.
It's almost like the concerts that Rory and I policed that in Central Park for all those years. Same
thing.
Scenario. Yeah.
You guys had many events in Central
a lot.
Park.
Yeah. A lot of major concerts.
Tony, let's go back to 9/11, 2001. Where were you that day?
So I was in the city. I live in Battery Park. And I used to ride my bike up and down to the George Washington back. It's an 18-mile bike ride. Obviously, it was a Tuesday. It was a clear day. And I usually stopped, when I finished riding and got the post delivered, the actual newspaper. And I would just make a cappuccino, look at New York One, read the paper. I'm waiting for it to cool down so I could take a shower and head in the office. And, of course, news breaks that a plane hit the Trade Center, and they said it was a commuter plane. I was thinking, that doesn't look right. Now, from my apartment, I can see the Twin Towers. I'm on 50 Battery. I'm looking across. So I'm just bewildered. And I said, you know what? We had a ceremony that day, and it was the 911 operators appreciation. Once a year, we brought all the 911 operators down from communications, which at then was in headquarters. It's since morphed over to Metrotech in Brooklyn. But back then, it was the 9th floor, I believe it was, in headquarters, had the 911 operator. So they would come down to the auditorium, and we would do the 911 operator of the year, Spanish call taker of the year, someone who talked suicide, off the ledge. All these people would be recognized. So we had them reporting into the headquarters. And I was like, this is before the second hit. I said, you know what? Commissioner Carrick, I'm being told, is going to find the mayor, and let me just throw on a pair of slacks. I had a T-shirt underneath my jersey that I was using for biking. Took that off, and I put a windbreaker on that said NYPD, and I went over to across the street. I couldn't find the mayor. Took me every time I was going to another place, the mayor had been there and went. I went to the North Tower. He wasn't there. I went to 75 Barclay. They already moved. The sights were horrific. Seeing people, just fall or jump, which I learned later on they jumped. Knowing there's no pool on the bottom was just, it's just something no one should ever see. And then finally, I got in touch with the commissioner, and he told me straightforward, hey, we're not going to Gracie Mansion. We're not going to City Hall. The phones don't work. We're not going to One Police Plaza because the Verizon building was right next to the north side of Ground Zero. We're coming to your building. That was the old police academy, 235 East 20th Street. Secure that building. Get everyone out of the building. So I traveled up, used my office personnel to go top to bottom, take everything out. Recruits, put them on. We put them on the FDR drive, and they were manning the emergency lanes to get our first responders, police, fire down the FDR drive. We had Wendell Spalding, Ricky Spalding, who we picked up in ceremonial about 6 months earlier. He's from the range, and he says, we have shotguns down in the basement. There's a small range in the police academy. He says, I'll secure the roof. And he secured the roof with 3 other people from ceremonial unit. We had the building emptied within about a half an hour. Contacted the police commissioner, Kerrick. We got it. It's secure. We had the peacekeeper, and those were those black cars. They were kept down in the basement. And we took those out and we blocked the 28th Street. And that was one police plaza, and that was City Hall for 4 days. And the mayor stayed there, the police commissioner stayed there, the fire commissioner, Von Essen, stayed there. They showered there. I mean, whatever they needed, we were the support staff for that.
You were, in effect, I mean, beyond the normal duties that people think of in ceremonial, you were in essence a crisis manager too.
That's true.
That's what you were doing there, especially during 9/11, because you were liaisoning, you were coordinating with the mayor, you were with what is it, Office of Emergency Management, FD, also with the governor at the time, the great friend of WABC and Cop Talk,
Pataki.
George Pataki. Yep. So, I mean, that's what you were doing. You were liaisoning and doing all that as well.
Richie Scherer was in that room. He was the OEM commissioner at the time. As you mentioned, Governor Pataki, elected officials came up to meet with, Mayor Giuliani. What could Washington give you? There were no politics after 9/11. Everybody was on the same page. You had Senator Clinton. You had Senator Schumer come in. You had the Cardinal come in. And I sat in most of those meetings. I wish I would have kept all my notes, but it was the Cardinal who said, why don't we have some type of prayer service, non-denominational? We'll have rabbis, we'll have imam, we'll have priests, and just a prayer service, which we did in October at Ground Zero. It was still smoldering. That fire wasn't out until almost the end of December. Just these meetings, it was just, how do we get everyone back on the same page? How do we, reduce the fear that people had? We had Sonny Garassa from the New York Stock Exchange come in, and the mayor pleading with him, please open up Wall Street. He goes, I can't. I don't have power in this building. I need that building because that's the trade building. And he had Rudy Washington, who's a retired detective, but worked as a deputy mayor under Giuliani.
Yeah, he's with ABC as well.
ABC.
He started getting generators the next day. I mean, 40-ton generators, 60-ton generators, huge generators to these buildings that actually process the trades so the stock exchange can open. And once that opened, people started coming back. But it was very evident from the beginning that it was Rudy Giuliani's vision to get the city back as quick as possible, get people back to the new normal. But then we had to figure out what protocol do you use when you find someone when you're removing the rubble? So we sat down with Port Authority, we sat down with FDNY, we sat down with some of the family groups that have formed. This is the protocol we're going to write up. This is what we're going to do. And if they're uniform, we're going to handle it this way. We had Frank, I believe it was DiPaolo's last name, from the morgue come over. How do we do the dignified transfers? How do we get them to the morgue? What route are we going to use? Yeah, we'll use the FDR. We'll get you onto the, 2nd Avenue. What do you want the families to do? All those protocols we had to write from scratch. Right. No one ever had close to 3,000 people killed in one location.
Right.
And then those protocols went on for at least another 2-3 years because we were finding parts of a body that we couldn't even identify.
Yep.
And then they would vacuum seal those and wait for DNA technology to catch up so we can identify them. Amazing. And then contact the family and say, do you want another funeral? Or do you want to put them in a vault that we're planning for the museum? And then that's what a lot of families decided to do. And they're still in that vault down in the 9/11 museum. So all those things had to be discussed and approved. And eventually it was the family that would give us the okay.
You also had on your watch another major event that hit the city that was particularly impactful for members of our department, and that was Superstorm Sandy. Superstorm Sandy, if I can say that right, in 2012.
In 2012. So during the actual storm, the police band was in Japan, and we were part of the Sister City program, building relationships. We did have a lot of people now coming over, migrating to the United States, and we wanted to show, unlike most of other countries, the police department is not attached to the military. In the United States, the police departments, the sheriff's departments are civilian controlled, not military controlled. So we wanted them to feel comfortable when they came to New York if they saw an officer. And we used to use this in our opening lines. It might be a member of the band that was playing trombone is now the officer you see on the corner. And it really worked well doing those tours. We got positive results from that we saw when people came here, and we were there. And we got in touch with the FAA and said, we have 40 officers. We need to get back to the city because everything was closed for Superstorm Sandy. And we were trying to get to Kennedy. They had lost some of their signals on the runway, and we were the first flight that the FAA approved to land in Kennedy, and immediately went up to the commissioner's office and said, what can we do? And he says, you know what would be helpful? Let's set up relief for our offices. We had all the other reliefs, the Red Cross, Tunnel of Towers was tremendous, getting all the materials that some companies were donating, and they already had an apparatus in place so they can accept it and they can distribute it. But what can we do for our offices? So we started using the highway patrol in the Bronx, Staten Island, Brooklyn, and Queens for relief, where officers and their families can go get water, diapers if they had children, or any type of materials that they would need. They would go to one of their closest highway district and ID themselves and pick up whatever donations we had, canned food. But we set those up. We got those together, and with employee relations, which is now called the Family Assistance Unit, we had close to 500 officers affected by Hurricane Sandy.
How many days after the storm was it that you were allowed to get back into JFK?
We were back on the third day.
Third day.
The morning of the third day. We didn't know how bad the storm was.
Yep.
Because it wasn't being reported where we were. It was when members of the band were getting pictures, and I got one of the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel with a car floating at the entrance. Right. And I went, that's out my window.
Yeah.
The water came out, and I was thinking about, well, I'm on the third floor. Hopefully the third floor didn't get hit. But we then realized how bad it was, and that's when we insisted we need to get back. And we got back, and then helped set up the relief spots for the officers.
That's great.
Because, we have to help the officers who are helping other people. And that became our job.
This episode is brought to you by Perfect Bistro Cat Food. Cats, this ad is for you. Has your human ever called you picky, persnickety, choosy? If so, Perfect Bistro Cat Food is for you. With ingredients like wild-caught tuna and pasture-raised lamb, tantalizing textures, and delectable flavors that meet even the most discerning cat standards. You're not picky, you're just perfectionists. Perfect Bistro, mealtime perfection for every cat. Have your human visit perfectbistro.com.
This episode is brought to you by Fox One. Watch all 104 matches of the FIFA World Cup live in 4K for just $19.99 a month with 3 days free. Build your own multi-view, choose up to 3 streams, and follow player spotlights. Stay on top of every moment with live stats, highlights, and instant replays. The FIFA World Cup, streaming live on Fox One. Offers are subject to change. See fox.com for complete terms and conditions.
Suffering from dry, tired, irritated eyes? Don't let dry eyes win. Use Systane Pro. It hydrates, restores, and protects dry eyes for up to 12 hours. Systane Pro. Triple action dry eye relief.
Choice Hotels get you more of what you value. Comfort Inn. It's calling your name. Save on the stay. Oh, and free waffles are yours to claim. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
So 9/11, Superstorm Sandy, those were impactful and etched in your mind for years and years to come. You've done so many funerals. You've done so many promotion ceremonies. Is there a particular funeral that stands out in your mind and a particular promotional ceremony that sticks in your mind?
There's always one promotion ceremony that sticks in my mind, and Chief Johnson was the MC. Typically, I would open it up as the MC, and then the chief of department would call the names.
Right.
Eventually, we just took over the position because it required a lot of time for the chief of department to sit down, learn all those names, the phonetics, which we wrote out for the chief. But eventually, we would take that position over of just say the names, the whole thing. And so Chief Johnson is saying the names. I'm next to him. And apparently there was an investigation of one of the narcotics modules. And this officer was being promoted to detective. We didn't know the officer. We do this all the time. As that officer comes across, we didn't realize that he didn't have the shield pinned on his uniform.
I remember this.
And what he did was he flipped it up, his shield, and it hit Chief Johnson's grip. And as it's sliding down, I grabbed the shield, and he goes, this officer, what was his words? This officer denies his promotion. And he walked off the stage and out the door. And Chief Johnson didn't miss a beat. He called the next name. And when he called about 2 names, he just said, find out what that was all about. So I had to get someone. There was always someone in ceremony off to the wings, and I said, find out what that was all about. And he had to run after the officer who was now outside the building on the plaza, and say, we finally found out that he was upset that there was an investigation. And that the fact that he was getting promoted, he didn't want to be, hey, I got a promotion because there's an investigation going on. I don't want to tie my promotion to this. And he actually...
that's a great story.
He actually, when he used to have his business card years later, it would be the copy of the newspaper article about him denying his promotion, refusing his promotion. That's was he said, this officer refuses this promotion, and he flipped it. And it'll be on the back of his card for years.
Yeah. Funeral. They're all painful. They're all sad.
I would say the 9/11 funerals, because it involved so many children, and it's the children that pull on your heartstrings.
Yeah.
And you know, I do remember Angela Gantz, the widow of Detective Gantz from ESU.
Yep.
And we had a problem with one of the funerals the week before. All the 23 families, they supported each other. They went to each other's funerals. And we had a problem the week before at a funeral where the priest wouldn't allow the casket in because there was nothing in the casket. We never found that officer. That officer till today, never found anything. Was pulverized. And so she remembered that, and we had given out small urns from Batesville. They donated. They were mahogany small urns that we filled with sterile soil that we had brought down to Ground Zero and had Monsignor Romano bless. And then we took it out, and we had made this replica casket, NYPD. It had bronze handles on it. And then we gave each one, because remember, families weren't getting anything back. They weren't finding it.
Right.
Gave them an urn at a ceremony. And the fire department also got urns. They did the same thing. And she had the wherewithal to put the urn in the casket. We didn't know that. So now we get to this funeral, and again, the priests, different church, different priests, but I guess they talk. Hey, there's no body in that casket. And she goes, yes, there is. I received an urn of my husband's ashes, and it's in the casket. And he went, oh, okay. Yeah. And we did the ceremony. And to me, that was the quickest thinking, and because she's highly religious, wanted that funeral, wanted to go through the steps. And I never forgot that funeral of all the funerals, because here she's negotiating with the priest. I want this funeral to happen. And she had a great plan to make sure it happened, and it did.
Good. Good for her.
You know, speaking about religious, that brings to mind, you also were very instrumental in coordinating 2 papal visits.
Yes.
I think it was John Paul and what was the other one? Was it Benedict?
It was John Paul and it was Benedict. Yes.
Benedict, yeah.
Benedict.
Right.
And both of them were at both. One, John Paul went to, the first one was my first papal visit and dealing with the Secret Service. We went
That's
to...
always an interesting...
It's a very interesting event, and I'm going to circle that back with Citigroup. So he comes in, very popular Pope, did the garden. He wants to do a mass at St. Patrick's. And Mayor Giuliani was the mayor at the time. He said, Tony, wouldn't it be nice if when the Pope came out, we just do an honor guard of officers, firefighters, NYPD on the way out? Great. So I grabbed the honor guard that we had from the 2 different agencies, and out of nowhere, Secret Service, because we all have guns. We're all working, right? What are you doing? I says, we're going to do an honor guard when the Pope comes out. You can't do that. We don't have the guns in our plan. I said, we're doing it.
Sorry.
As we're arguing,
We
right?
are
We already had
NYPD.
set everything up.
It's our town.
The doors open up St. Pat's. It's like something, if you've never seen the doors open up, it's tremendous, right? You're sitting there and all of a sudden the doors open up. You see all the way down. You know, you see the altar, and here comes the Pope. And this guy is beside himself.
Sure.
The same Secret Service, right? Years later, we're doing... Benedict comes and he goes to Ground Zero. Now, we don't control Ground Zero. That is Port Authority property. Right. So we always would sit down with them, tell them exactly what we're doing, and then who's doing the commands, right? Because you have fire, you have Port Authority Police, you have NYPD, and we would decide just one person do the commands. And for that ceremony, I did the commands, right? So I'm setting everyone up, and all of a sudden, Secret Service says, who are all these people? At the last minute, the Port Authority upper echelon decides to go in a frozen zone. This zone was where if there was a catastrophic incident, they were going to pull the Pope out and go that way. Okay. And all of a sudden, it's sitting, I mean, from 1 star to 5 stars, I mean, everyone, there was the Port Authority superintendent, deputy superintendent. Tony, we need you to move all these people out of here right now. Yeah. And, you know, I finagled something where I got them all off to the side because they told me that's our escape route if something happens. Wow. And you know what? Years later, I met that head of the Secret Service who, you know, relayed this over at Citigroup. And it was a wonderful story when we told the story together. You know, he's telling his side of the story. I'm telling my side.
So he wound up working with you in Citigroup?
No, he was actually the head of CSIS at the time.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Which crisis management went under. But where we knew each other was from those 2 Pope visits, and we did it. You know, I understood what they were going for. You know, both times they were surprises. They weren't in the plan. And once their plan gets approved by Washington, they want to stick to the plan. And here I am changing the plan at the last minute. Yeah. And it was just, you know, it's one of those New York moments where you couldn't make this up. Same thing happened at the Ramos funeral. I had the 10,000 officers. This is when Ramos and Lou were assassinated in December of 2016, if I remember the date right. And it was in Ridgewood, I believe. It was off of Myrtle Avenue. We were going to use Myrtle as straight shot. And then they said, oh, Vice President Biden's coming to do the eulogy, and we want that route. And there was no, this is in a meeting, there was no, I said, I need a spot to put 10,000 officers. Normally we're right outside the church and we use a straight line for the formation. Couldn't have it. And I mean, there was just, no. So I had to figure out that the casket was actually going to wind up in a cemetery, and they were going to do a big circle around Myrtle, down through the Interborough at the time, and then go into Cypress Cemetery. And I said, you know what? We'll just use that windy road. And we put everyone down the windy road. Not what we normally do, but we understood this is the Vice President of the United States. They need it, again, if there's an incident, they need that route. Yeah. And, you know, those always stick out in my mind, those meetings, because they weren't, you know.
Yeah.
There was a little heated. I'm saying it nicely now because it's years later, but it was contested in that.
Now, did you ever work, Tony? Did you ever work with Joe LaPointe?
Oh, Joe LaPointe was a police officer in the ceremonial unit. He then, as a lot of guys do, they move over to FDNY. Yep. Joe was the consummate professional. Yep. He elevated FDNY ceremony.
Sure did. So
he changed that whole. No matter who was the fire commissioner, Sal Casano, or if it moved over to Nigro was the commissioner afterwards. Joe was just phenomenal in that job. He's recently retired. I could not have a better partner. When FDNY and NYPD got together, there was never a battle in badges. We didn't do that. Joe was great at what he did.
Joe worked with me in anti-crime in Midtown North Precinct. So he was a correctional officer.
I didn't know that.
Then came on our job, NYPD.
Yeah.
Then he went over to the fire department.
Right.
His three brothers, the same thing. They were cops in and out at firemen.
Right.
Joe had to retire because of age. He aged out. But Tunnel to Towers, they hired him to. He's with them now.
Listen, and
great
so
guy,
Joe was great.
Job.
And he put in more hours than he put on the paper. And he just worked it, and he elevated that whole ceremonial unit, and he elevated their members' experience, both good and bad, promotions and funerals.
Did they refer to him as the Tony Giorgio of the fire department?
No, they referred to him as Joe LaPointe. But
Tony
let
and
me
Joe,
tell you,
great guys.
He was absolutely phenomenal. He was a great partner to work with. Whenever we had an issue, we just call each other, iron out in a second.
He always ran events too, even in the precinct down at Jersey Shore. Joe LaPointe always ran events.
He was an event guy.
He's
You got to
awesome.
like these events and then do them and then say, what's the after action report? How could we have done this better? What was the feedback? Feedback, in the raw sense is the best. It's hate when it comes like filtered down from the top. It's better if the person tell us what they didn't like. And we changed ceremonies, Medal Day ceremonies. We changed the NYPD Medal Day ceremony that it's still the same way today as it was when we changed it. Back in 89, it was Mayor Koch that did the 89 one, and then in 90 was Mayor Dinkins. We would go to City Hall. Now at City Hall, there's not a lot of rooms inside the actual building.
Right.
So we needed a room for our dais to get together. So they give us the blue room, which was the press room. But then what about the line of duty families? We need room for them. We can't have them sit in the sun. Well, there wasn't a room. So we went up to the commissioner's office and we said, we really want to change Medal Day because we're getting it from the families that they had young babies. They were getting the medal, posthumously of the Medal of Honor, right? And we have no room for them to change diapers if they have to change diapers. We have no room for them when they need to take a break or feed the baby. What are you suggesting? Go on the plaza, One Police Plaza. We could freeze it. We own all the rooms in the building. We could designate a line of duty, rooms. We could designate the dais room. We could designate where we have the refreshments afterwards in the auditorium. We changed that. No one said a word. Like City Hall didn't, the mayor has to walk across. Mayor Dinkins walked across. Mayor Giuliani walked across the plaza. They didn't take a car. And no one said a word. And yet it was because we were listening to the feedback of our officers and their families that they wanted a different experience. It wasn't working at City Hall. Very nice to have an event at City Hall. Right. But it just didn't work there until today. Medal Day is at One Police Plaza. And the rain location is inside the auditorium.
That's right.
Wow. Amazing. So, gentlemen, any last words? This has been a great interview, by the way.
It's a great interview.
Great.
You had a remarkable career, Tony, and we didn't even get to touch on some of the other things. I would have loved to have touched on
you back,
some of the trips that you guys took.
Part 2.
Episode 2.
Episode 2, right. Absolutely.
And I understand you're also a musician, too.
Yes.
So maybe we can talk about that one time.
Yeah. We could also, if he comes back, you bring a tray of meatballs.
There you go.
Oh, my God.
Don't come empty-handed.
There is no such thing as a free lunch around here.
Tony, is it sauce or gravy?
Oh, there you go. I tell you, it's sauce until you put your meat in there, whether it be the braciole, the meatball, whatever you put in it. Then it becomes gravy.
Okay.
So it's always a sauce. It starts off as a sauce.
Okay.
And sometimes you wouldn't call a pesto a gravy. You would call that a sauce.
Right.
Same thing with tomato. It's a sauce. Until you put the meat in it, then it's a gravy. It's a very simple argument. I don't know why people argue.
I can see it coming.
Forget about it.
But don't forget, Cop Talk can go on location, too, at Tony's house for dinner.
I like that. But if you're going to be in town for 9/11?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so maybe we'll have you back on around that time as well.
And
with some of the other guys, too.
It's a milestone. It's the 25th year.
Yeah.
So that, I think it would be a
25th anniversary. It's amazing. I mean, it's amazing that there's guys and girls on this job who can retire tomorrow with 20 years and weren't here for 9/11.
They weren't here for 9/11. It's amazing. Just last week, they did another 9/11 funeral. So we could discuss, not only did we lose 23 officers, we lost over 200.
Correct.
With the illnesses after.
Yeah.
And
every year.
It's sort of forgotten. I know the fire department still goes through the same issue with the officer who responded right after the attack. And certainly the police department is going through it.
No, for sure. And I hope you're in the program, 9/11 program, Mount Sinai, right? We all
Yes, we all
have to be.
Yes.
But this has been a great interview. And I have to say thank you because the ceremonial unit has done a great job under your watch, and I'm sure we'll continue to do a great job. But I know I've had, like we all have had, relatives who were on the job, former MOS, who passed away just from, natural causes years later after retirement, and notify the ceremonial unit, and they send the guys and girls, and it's a beautiful send-off. I mean, the ceremonial unit with the NYPD does an awesome job.
Yeah.
And it'd be great if some of the other police departments in the country could just take it from you guys and go from there. I mean, amazing.
Just as a plug for the next show, we came up with the idea, which Commissioner Bratton fully endorsed. We started sending 2 officers to every line of duty funeral in the 48 states. And JetBlue would donate 2 tickets. And then the department would just pay for the hotel and the meals. And not only did they go and express their sympathy, they bring our funeral guidebook with them and say, wow, this is just a guidebook.
Is that still active today?
I don't know if it's still active today.
Yeah.
I know it was for a while after I left, but here's our funeral guidebook. It's just a guide. It's what our protocols are, but something that you can use as a diving board to create your own book. And that's what they did.
Yeah.
And the families would grab our officer. New York City came to my husband's funeral.
Yeah.
In St. Charles, Louisiana, or Shreveport, Louisiana.
Right.
It was an eye-opener for us because we would get the phone calls afterwards. I can't believe they sent 2 officers down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But
we take care of our own.
Yeah.
And,
we do.
Yep. It should never be anything less.
Absolutely.
True.
I'd like to thank my special co-host today, Rory Capra.
Thank you, Kev.
Thank you again for being here. Dave Giordano as well. Thank you. Okay, it's been a long one today. But Tony Giorgio, Lieutenant Tony Giorgio, thank you so much. You do great work. You've always done great work. And thank you for bringing closure to many of our MOS's families, not only here in New York, but throughout the country. So thank you, and I hope to have you back soon.
Thank you, and thank you for your kind words.
Thank you. And congratulations to your New York Knicks as well.
Yes.
Until next time, I'd like to thank you. You can always watch us on social media, as Captain Ed Med would always say, watch us on social media. But until next time, God bless you, God bless America, God bless our U.S. military, and of course, God bless law enforcement throughout the country. Thank you.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.